Everything. He runs the floor well. He's great on the backboard. He can post you. He can drive you. He's shooting the three ball. He's got good in between game. So he's got all the makings of a guard that is in a 6'8", 6'9", 245-pound body. So this is the best player that we've played against all year. So it's a tremendous challenge.
Is there one aspect of his game that you're more intent on shutting down because he can play? He's so dimensional.
No, not necessarily, because he can do all things. He got the first 11 points the other night, and not one of them, I think, was at the block where he's real dangerous. So he makes 2 or 3 threes. He makes a jump shot. He can run in transition. I mean, he's just one of those guys that's really hard to play against, really hard to guard because he plays at a high level and he's very skilled.
Coach, could you talk about opening up the Mountain West season here at home after being on the coach? I mean, you've never had a chance.
Yeah, it's never happened. So we're excited about it. I hope it goes well. But it's good to start things at home because we've had a lot of success in the league, but we've had to start that on the road, and that's always a scary proposition, especially in a league like this. But it's a great week. It's a great week for our program. It's a great week for our fans. You're in a league that's the second-ranked league in the country. You got a team that's 13-2 and nationally ranked and doing a lot of good things, and you get in your building to right off the bat UNLV, and then you get Fresno for the weekend. So it's a great weekend for everybody, and hopefully we can play well and hopefully get off to a good start.
What about when you came home? You were saying that you guys had time to rest and work on some things. Do you feel encouraged by what you've seen?
Yeah, because I couldn't be more pleased with the team. This is easily the hardest non-conference schedule in UNM basketball history on the men's side. You can go back long way and not find a schedule like this. Our schedule strength's 11. Our RPI is 11. We've won 13 games. We've won 6 games away from the pit. We're 7-1 in the pit. These guys have done a lot of good things, and so we're obviously ecstatic of where they're at. With saying that, we're like a lot of other teams. We got a lot of issues to work on, and our guys know that, and they've worked very hard. These 9 days, we've been able to take a little bit of time off, get away from the film. We've had a lot of film because of our travel, and really spent a lot of time on the physical, mental side on the court, and we've had more court time. So hopefully that court time produces better play going into the UNLV game than it did the St. Louis game.
How important is it to remain in the top 25 or in the AP?
Well, I think it's always a positive. I think those things, you can look at them 100 different ways. You can go, and I'm not going to name names, but you got teams that have lost more games than us with a worse RPI and a worse schedule strength, and they're still ranked. They don't move. So it's, you got things like the RPI that's computer driven. You got things like the rankings that are people driven. So our business is about the computer. Our business is about people. So we just try to do what we can do to control what we control. And the things that we control is our next game. And the body of work is banked. The NCAA rules have changed where now there is emphasis on your November and December schedule. 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. It was pretty much what you did at the end of the year. They called it the last 10 games. Now the whole body of work counts. Well, we've got 15 games that are banked. That's not going to get taken away. It was a schedule strength of 11. That was an RPI of 11. So now the second season starts, and that's the conference season. So the first part of the season was outstanding, and our guys did a lot of great things. Ranked 5 or 6 weeks, did a lot of good things, and now everybody starts 0-0, and we see what we can do from here in the next 2 months.
Coach, you mentioned getting more court time down during the break. What did you guys work on primarily?
A little bit of everything, because the things that we're really good at, we got to continue to be good at. And the things that we've been struggling with, we've got to improve in those areas. So most of the practices have been probably a little bit less emphasis on individual work and individual development type skill stuff and more on the team concepts of what we're doing, both defensively and offensively.
Coach, as far as the last time we saw you, they weren't completely done with this TV thing that they did with the Mountain West. Now that they've extended the TV deal, Boise State has come back, does that make things more attractive to you as far as because of the TV thing?
Well, I've always said that's the next biggest piece, and that's got to continue to be solidified for us to, as a league, to continue to do the things that we want to do. But on the basketball side, I'm not for sure what more you can ask from the coaches of this league, the players of this league. This is my 6th league, and I think, I may be wrong, but I think we were 8th or 9th We grew to 7th, we grew to 6th, we grew to 5th, we got as high as 4, and now here we are starting league play as the second-rated conference in the country. There's been a lot of work put into it from coaches and players and the teams involved. So this is a big-time basketball league, And now you're hearing some rumors of maybe some teams coming back, which makes it could be even stronger than what it is. But with all the turmoil and with all the change that's happened and the landscape's changed, the one thing that's stayed consistent is how strong a basketball league this been. And obviously, being a basketball coach, I hope that's the way it continues to stay.
You talked about how challenging the non-conference slate was, and this could also be the most challenging conference slate.
No question. No question. This league, top to bottom, the teams that were in the bottom have all gotten better. You know, the two teams that tied for last, Air Force and Boise last year, all much improved. And Air Force is senior-laden, so they're running that Princeton offense with a lot more senior experience. Boise's healthy. They were hurt a lot last year. People don't talk enough about that. Injuries have a lot to do with it, and we've been fortunate. We've stayed healthy. I hope that continues. Boise was beat up and hurt most of last year until the end of the year. They fought us in here the last game of the season as well as anybody did last year, other than maybe San Diego State, who won. So our bottom of the half of the league has gotten a lot better. The top half has stayed strong. So now that means you've got top to bottom a league that's very difficult, not just to win on the road. I think home games are going to be hard.
Coming off of the tough non-conference schedule, how would you describe your team?
Very good, because there's 350 teams at the Division I level, and again, whether it's computer or people driven, when you play the 11th hardest schedule in the country and you come out of it with 13 wins and only 2 losses. One loss was a 2-possession game at home, and the other loss you had just the worst way you could possibly play in a 20-minute game against a very good defensive team. So to go through that 13-2, and there were a lot of question marks at the beginning of the year, and you could have looked at our team with all the question marks and seen 9-6 pretty easy, and to be sitting at 13-2. We've got to be a very good basketball team to do that. But we're a very good basketball team that still has a big ceiling. And we've talked about that ceiling all year. I still think we got ways to improve. Our half-court execution's got to get better. We've been taking care of the ball. Up until the SLU game, we were really taking care of the ball. So we've got to first and foremost take care of the basketball and then work harder to get high percentage shots. When that happens, then I think more guys are going to make shots and our offense will look a lot better.
Over the last couple games with the shooting and getting better shots type deal. Have you done anything during this break to correct that?
Well, I think just one thing you can do as coaches is continue to emphasize. And we emphasize the foul line a lot. We emphasize what we want to do defensively a lot. And we emphasize the half-court execution a lot. You get into conference play, there's going to be a lot more half-court situations because there's 15 tapes out on us. There's 15 tapes out on UNLV, Fresno, all the way down the line. So everybody knows each other really well. Everybody's scouted really well. So you've got to be able to execute. And our teams over the years have done a really good job of executing. We've always been able to get good shots. And I think that's why we've made a high percentage of our shots. And I think this team has struggled kind of understanding that. We're too quick to take a difficult shot instead of making 1, 2, 3 more passes and trying to get a better shot. And those are things we've been working on.
Coach, your team at times, several times, first half is not the best part of the game for you. Do you change things at halftime? Did they just get
we make some changes, and I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I mean, our Cincinnati, obviously our St. Louis game was not very good, and we've probably scored more points in the second half than we have the first half. I think that's a positive because your team makes adjustments. The second half's where you win games, and you can't get down 20 like we did at SLU, but we don't. That's happened one time in 6 years, so I don't think that's a trend. But I think our guys have done a pretty good job of learning what the game is about and continue to get better. But there's no question we gotta do a better job in that first 10 minutes of the game of playing better.
Coach, do you think Demetrius has been struggling with his confidence a little bit?
Oh, I'm sure. We stress confidence coming at the defensive end. Because I think shooting can always come and go, and making shots can be that way in a long season. So I think what we've seen in that road trip, at least with Demetrius, his defense started to improve. If his defense continues to improve, he'll get the minutes and he'll get the opportunities to correct shooting. He's like everybody else. If the defense slides, then your minute slides. I'm all about if we got to go on the road and win 55-54 in a slugfest at Cincinnati, then that means we can play with anybody. And the shooting is something that'll come. I just don't want our guys' confidence riding on whether they make shots, because if that happens, you have a game where you don't make shots and you don't guard anybody, then you're getting beat. We may have games where we don't make shots, but I want to be able to defend and play hard and play tough and still give ourselves a chance to win at the end. And this team's done that. I think that's been their identity. They've not been a good shooting team. I still think we will be. I've got confidence that will happen. But our identity has been our toughness and our ability to find ways to win in the end.
Coach, I don't know how UNLV's team defense has been looking on tape as you've been scouting them, but Anthony Marshall's got to be one of the best defenders individually you faced this year.
Absolutely. Anthony Marshall's one of the best players in the backcourt. I think he's a tremendous player. We've struggled with him in years past. We've liked it when all of a sudden somebody else has got the ball, because Anthony is extremely talented. He can post you. He can drive you. He's shooting the ball much better this year, so offensively I think his game's improved. He's always been, in my mind, one of the best defending guards in our league. So it's important that our guys know that, our vets know that, Tony, Hugh, Kendall, Demetrius, these vets know how good he is defensively. So you've got to pay extra attention to that as far as getting yourself open and how you get the shots you want to get, because you've got a very good on-the-ball defender guarding you.
I know you guys are okay with getting out and running if that's what it presents to you, but UNLV, that's all they want to do. Do you try and take them out? Do you try and slow it down?
Well, I think we got to be who we are. I don't know if that's slowing them down, and I don't know if you can slow them down. They play at a high level. They play at a very quick pace. I think it's about – I've always thought the game's about quality of shot, and that has to do a little bit with your offense, and that has a little bit to do with the other person's defense. So it kind of goes hand in hand. If you're playing good defense, then you're taking away – a really good shot that the opponent has. If you're really good offensively, then you're cutting and you're getting the shot that you need to do regardless of what the defense is doing. So that's why it's fun with our game. There's no stoppage of play. You go from offense to defense, defense to offense, and you better be pretty solid at both ends or you're going to get exploited at one of those ends. And if you get exploited at one end, it affects the other one. And we can't have that happen, especially playing a team like UNLV, because this is the best team we've played. They're a very good basketball team.
Cincinnati and St. Louis are two of the best defensive teams that you guys
Right.
saw all year.
Both ranked top 20.
Do you expect that level of defense in conference play, and who would you say is kind of at that level?
I haven't seen all of our teams on tape, because our emphasis, other than non-conference play, has been all about UNLV the last 9 days. So I can't speak for the rest of the league. I'd have to look at the numbers and those type of things. But our league traditionally has been a very good defensive league. Good coaches, and good coaches understand that the defensive side of the thing. So there's good coaches in this league, and we know we're going to get guarded, and hopefully we do our share of guarding. But usually championships are won by the teams that really understand that defensive end. And I think there's no question that if we're the second-rated league in the country, then we must be a pretty good defensive league. So without looking at the numbers, I think if you looked at the numbers, I'm sure Wyoming's points per game are down defensively. Field goal percentage is probably down. I'd say the same with San Diego State. I know UNLV's are good. Ours are good. I would imagine the rest of our league's got pretty good defensive numbers.
I'm not sure we have time for the guys. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.